Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite podcast.
Riffin with Griffin, yeah.
Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Riffin with Griffin.
Riffin with Griffin, yeah.
Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo, the golden voice is almost back to normal. We had like 85%, but welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. On today's episode, I'm going to go into the NBA Finals. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Caitlyn Clark situation. Let's do a deep dive on that and give you my opinion. Plus some news and notes, maybe some reviews. Get you caught up on what's going on in my world. But I appreciate you watching, and as always, welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Woo, I almost had it. Riffin with Griffin. Thanks for watching, y'all. Welcome back. You know what you got to do? You got to sub. You want to know I'm going live? You got to hit that sub button so you can get it. And make sure, you check the videos, you know what I mean? Because maybe sometimes they don't announce that the video's up because I'm doing it live. I don't know why, it's some weird thing. But I tried it the other way and it didn't make a difference. So just keep looking out. I'm on Twitch most days. I love playing Call of Duty. That's my jam. Until GTA 6 comes out, it's going to be all Call of Duty, baby. And I want to thank all my Patreon people. Even when I don't put up enough content, I'm just waiting for my studio to get built, because then the Patreon is just going to be this, like look like this, and then, my studio. But it's just, I got some setbacks. But, we working on it. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me, Patreonies. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, baby. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Let's put that there. I think my mic's loud enough. Sometimes the mic shows up on the screen, and sometimes it doesn't. Oh, man. Whatever. I got to use these little headphone things to hook up to my Xbox. I mean, it's a whole thing when you're streaming, when you game streaming, y'all. But whatever. We're back. Welcome back. Thanks for being here, all you YouTubers who are here live with me, and if you're watching later, appreciate that. Is what it is. And we're back. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm gonna tell you something I did, and I don't know how much it affected, how I was feeling. But so I know I was like actually sick. Okay, I was. But then when I was home, I noticed, I said, oh, you know what? How long has it been since I changed the HVAC filters? This is for all you homeowners, man. Some people just don't do this enough, right? You don't realize how important it is. But I changed the filters. Instantly, I was feeling better in terms of like that feeling like you have allergies or something like that, So instantly, I was feeling better there. But then okay, so I don't know, the people that do you have this at your house, you have these big stupid filters. You got to have a ladder and you got to go up and open the grate. So they have the arrow pointing like airflow. So I thought the airflow was coming out of that, right? No, turns out that's what's grabbing the air to go into right? So that arrow has to be pointed up towards the duct if you're using the filters in your ceiling, right? So I said, ooh, let me change. Then I Googled it. Right? And I went into, AI and all that. And I said, hey, how important is this? Turns out it's super important. So then I had to get my ladder out again, and I had to change and make sure that things are pointing in the right direction. And I got to tell you, there's just the air quality in the house and that kind of stuff. You don't realize how important that is. So I do recommend you guys, if you haven't, you're supposed to do it every 3 or 4 months. You know what I mean? Especially if you live in an area where you have your AC running a lot, change your filter, man. Whoo! You know what I mean? It's something else, man. So, Somebody said, have you watched Sinners yet? I have not, and I'm sorry. You know, it's just that when I'm on the, like, a lot of the road stuff I've been doing with Matt Rife. So when I'm out with him, it's very specific things that we're doing. So it's like, I don't get a chance to just go to a movie, you know? Or maybe he's already seen the movie and he don't want to see that movie again. Or like, I've already seen a movie and he, you know what I mean? So we pick a different movie, you know what I mean? So, I mean, then when I'm on the road by myself, like, what movie did I go see? I don't even know what's the last movie I saw in the theater. I can't even tell you the last. Oh, it was Mission Impossible. That's the last movie I saw in the theater. And I just like, sometimes I'm like, certain movies, I'm like, let me just wait. You know? There's no, like, because of the internet and streaming, there really is no timeline that's important anymore. Like, when I was a kid, teenager, before the internet was the big, what it is, and before we started streaming, you had to go to the movie theater because the movie would go away and you never got a chance to see it until it comes out on like VHS or DVDs later. So you kind of like, you were incentivized, if you wanted to be a part of whatever the magic is of going on, you would go to the theater. Now, it don't matter. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so what? I don't see Sinners in the theaters. Who cares? It's going to be on HBO Max or, Netflix or whatever it's going to be on in like a couple months anyway. And then I'll get to watch it on my big 85-inch TV sitting in my living room chilling. So, I'll still, no one cares anymore. You know, like movies come and go, so like nobody cares. I don't know if I like that. You know what I mean? You don't know. This guy, Carter James, said, Matt's not going to watch a good black film. Probably hasn't been since Friday. You don't know Matt Rife. That's so funny. I can't wait to tell him that. That's just so funny. All of Matt's friends are black. Like literally all his friends are black. All his best friends are black. It's, he saw Sinners already. It's the reason why I haven't seen it with him on the road, because he already saw it. He saw it when it first came out. He was like, oh my God, it's so good. And I was like, oh, you don't want to see it again? He's like, no, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the kind of movie you want to see again. I mean, it's just, it's funny. So anyways, I think that's what's up with the movie business right now, man. You know, it's like, there's just no, I don't know, it's not special anymore, right? And I think that sucks because I used to really love going to the movies. Man, I remember, you tell me in the chat, guys, in the comments, like what was a good movie day for you? Like a one that you was like, oh, I have to go see this. For me, it used to be like every Friday. Like every Friday a new movie would come out and I wanted to see it before anyone else. I used to have that feeling. But now it's just like, that's gone away. I mean, it's good with age. But I remember a really great movie day used to be Christmas. Like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And Thanksgiving, too, is another one. That'd be a great movie day. Like the day after Thanksgiving, or when they started doing that thing where they would release a movie early at midnight. So that was my jam. Oh, man, that was my jam. I used to love going to midnight movies, man. That's when it was special. It was like the movie comes out on Friday, and then they started doing these midnight showings. I remember I saw one of the Batmans at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was out of here in LA, so that's weird. I'm having a banana while I'm doing this. Sorry, guys. Inappropriate. But, I just bit my lip. God damn. I was going too fast. Anyways, so those were like two of my favorite days. So now, I'll just wait. Certain movies will come out, I'll watch it, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, but somebody said scary movies were the best with a group of friends. Hell yeah. Oh, man, there's nothing better. You know who my favorite scary movie in the movie theater partner is? Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee and I, we've seen a couple movies like that in the theaters together, just like scared out of our mind. That's great. We saw this one terrible, I don't know if it had a nun in it, but it wasn't the nun. But it had a nun in it who was doing some freaky stuff. And we saw that movie together. Yeah, but, Now you see, somebody said, are you seeing Superman Day 1? I actually do want to watch Superman If I'm out on the, see, this is the thing. If I'm out on the road by myself, I am for sure gonna go see whatever the big movie is, you know. But the artsy fartsy movie, I might, excuse me, I might not go see that movie. But I am gonna, I want to see Superman. I like all the, what do you call it? The trailers look pretty good. We'll see. Superman's a tough movie to make well. You know what I mean? Because you're talking about a god, you know? He's basically a god on Earth, super strength and, you know, everything that he could do. It's kind of like, unless you have a villain of equal strength, it's kind of like, what are you talking about? So the story's got to be really good. So I'm hoping they did that. You know what I mean? I'm hoping they find a way to tell a really good story. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Whew. All right. I don't know what this is. All right. Anyways, so there's that. What's going on here on the home front? Oh, Wolf is just getting so freaking big. You know what I mean? He's just getting so big. Oh my God. You know what? Adam Devine sent me the funniest, like I said, our kids are about the same age. Like I think they're like a week apart, maybe a week and a half apart, something like that, you know? And so, you know, I sent him this, I sent him this picture of Wolf. I'll show it to you guys. I'm just opening up my, I don't know what, you know, I don't know what's going on my computer today. Like everything is lagging. It's like it only does this when I'm doing my podcast. You know, it only does. Like normally, the photo app, boom, just opens right up, no issues. The moment I'm streaming, all of a sudden, it's like, what are we doing? All right. So, anyways, all right. So, let's see. Where are my pictures? Oh wow. This kid, man. All right, so this is a great picture of him right here. Okay, so let me go to, what do I do? Screen share? Oh, look at him. So I sent this picture to Adam, right? And his kid's name is Bo. And he said, man, why does Bo still look like a baby and Wolf looks like he's ready to domestic violence someone? That shit cracked me up. But there's little Wolfie. Oh my God, look at him. He's like doing this thing where he's smiling at the camera all the time now. You know, he's cheese balling, you know? He's like, cheese. he's doing this thing now. I go, smile for the camera. With his little teeth. Ah. Oh man. Look at that. Just so you know he's my kid. Yeah. I love being a dad. I get so many, a lot of guys my age, you know, they have kids and they'll be like, I show them a picture, like my lawyer, he just checking in with me, like, yo, what's up, man? Haven't talked to you in a second, you know, and I'm like, yeah, man. And I sent him a picture of Wolf and he was like, oh my God, my daughter just graduated from college. And I'm like, God damn, I'm doing this late. You know what I mean? Little Wolf. He was dancing today, you know. Oh, and he did this little cute thing today. Oh my God, we really have to show it. We really have to show it.
Itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. So the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again.
I should make my podcast just all Wolf videos. Here's my kid. Adorable. Anyways, guys. Yeah, so I don't know when I'm gonna take Wolf to the movies. I want him to enjoy it. He only enjoys Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel comes on and that kid goes crazy, you know? he sees Miss Rachel on TV and he's like, ah, you know what I mean? And he just runs and like sits down and he's like, boom, you know what I mean? It's crazy. What's going on? So Wolf's great. That's good. Let me get by the way, I love talking about Rachel. I love Rachel. She is the absolute best mom, best wife, but she's hilarious. Okay, she does hilarious stuff. Like today, all right. So in the kitchen, there's a drawer that has Ziploc bags and a drawer that has the trash bags. You know, which are these plastic bags. She points over to that direction and goes, "Get me a plastic bag." Which one do you think it would be? Okay? Like, which one do you think it would be? She points into the direction of, so I go get the trash bag, the plastic bag. She goes, not that. I want the Ziploc bags. Like, why would I think it would be the Ziploc bags if you did say Ziploc bags, right? You just say Ziploc bags. You wouldn't say plastic bags, and I think Ziploc bags when there are also trash bags over here that is more likely to be a plastic bag than the Ziploc. That's what it is. That's Rachel. But this was the funny one. So there's some boys, so I live in this like sort of like, gated community. It's building up still, so they haven't really started using the gates yet. The gates are still not open. I mean, the gates are wide open because of construction trucks and all this kind of stuff. And even though my whole neighborhood is completely sold now, Anyway, that doesn't matter. But so these boys from a neighborhood right here, just a couple, it's right here. They're riding around on their bikes because they want to start a trash business. They said, they want to like, hey, we'll come and clean your trash cans for you for a certain price. My wife's like, oh, okay. This is Rachel's negotiation. She's like, yeah, come clean the trash cans, but can you also come Tuesday, like come on trash day and like put the trash cans out on the street and then take the trash cans back. It's not even that far. It's not even that big a deal. And then she's like, then they go, well, how much? And she's like, I don't know. She says, like $30. I'm like, you think you're gonna pay these kids $30 a week to do that? That's more money than it costs the company to come move the trash. So the kids come and she's not here, and I go, hey, yeah, my wife's crazy. Yeah, and the kids go, yeah, we can see that. These like 14, 15-year-old kids knew that they were getting over. So I was like, all right, I'm going to give you the $30 today, okay? But it's not going to be that moving forward, okay? And they were like, yeah, we get it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Weird stuff. But that's good. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but I don't mind doing it. Like, I'm not going to, it's like, I could just put the trash out, but I think it's also kind of cool that these neighborhood kids are trying to like, be an entrepreneurial. So I'm going to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, all right, I'll help you out with this, You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a waste of money because I feel you feel like you're contributing to the growth of these kids. Like they're earning their own money and then they're like spending it on, when you earn your own money, there's something special about that. So I'm like, all right, because I feel like, hey, what if Wolf, he gets to that age, he's like, hey, I want to start a business around here, and I'll be like, you know what, go ahead, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. All right, guys. Oh, you know what? Let's do comments first. We'll do comments. We'll see what kind of good comments we got this week, and then we will, we'll move on. So, let's see. Eric, the Guapo, said, the formula works. It's primal, and we all wish we could be like that. This is why it's fun to watch. Talking about the Jason Statham movies. That's from last week. Yeah, man. Somebody said, Marco Gonzalez says, Statham is a superstar. Loved him in The Transporter. Yeah, I'll say it again. that dude always delivers. Something about his performance and the way he does the kung fu and the choreography, it's great, you know. Somebody commented on the Lee one of the old Lee Brothers episodes. Still listening in 2025. The podcast that could have been, huh? Oh man, but we'll see. Whatever. Let's see now. Let's see. I don't know what this one is about. I don't like that one. They're stupid ones. I guess we're done for today with comments. Oh, I was saying, like, who would be good against John Wick? I actually got some good ones from you guys about that. Because I was thinking, like, John Wick's a badass. Like, who could beat, like, what movie character would you think John Wick would have a tough time with, you know? And I said Jack Reacher was kind of tough. Like, even Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher, or even in just Tom Cruise's Mission of Ethan Hunt or Jack Reacher, I think would give John Wick a run for his money. But this is the best one, and I've got this a couple times. John Wick versus Bernthal's Punisher. That's a good one. That's actually, that'd be a good fight, you know? Passion and all that. Also, I think Daredevil, right? But then Daredevil, you know, you don't want to put action heroes in there. But Daredevil doesn't seem to have any real, well, I guess he has that sonar ability, but I don't know. Yeah, I got a couple of those from people. So, anyways, thanks for your comments. Thanks for contributing to the show. I totally appreciate it. Okay, so let's first before I wait. Let me just look because I want to look this up. There's a lot of videos about this. This fucking Caitlyn Clark stuff is crazy, man. You know what I mean? Like it's like everything that's going on with that. But we'll get into it. But before I get into that, man, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. And in the past, I may have commented or wanted to comment on it, but I'm just honestly thinking, I just don't think that I'm the person for that, you know? I think that there's a lot of stuff going on in the world with Israel and Iran and the United States and Russia and Ukraine, and seems to be the tale as old as time of, you know, people going for power and wealth, you know? And I don't want any war. I don't want to see any American troops die. I don't want to see any citizens of any nation die because of choices of a few men. So that's all I'm really going to comment on it. You know, I'm keeping a close eye because, you know, man, this is some, you know, we don't know how any of these nations are going to react. You know, there's a lot of talk on the internet, a lot of, you know, a lot of messages going out from world leaders. And it's like, this is not, we have a global economy right now. I think that we're all connected and nobody wants to see, you know, at the worst kind of war. We don't want that. Nobody wants World War III. Nobody wins in that situation. No one's going to come out ahead in this day and age if that happens. So I hope it all gets settled. And plenty of people on the internet have opinions. Literally every person you follow on Instagram, probably check their story and they got something to say. They got some bullshit facts they're putting out to try to prove their point. And, you know, whatever. It's not going to be me today. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and think good thoughts and hope the best for our planet. Okay? That's what I'll say there. All right? Anyways, let's get into it. This week, I really wanted to talk about, I did want to get into this Caitlyn Clark stuff, man. You know, this Caitlyn Clark stuff I've been watching it, and I just want to break it down to how I see it, okay? This is just how I see it. Take it for what you want. So you got this girl who's just like, literally plays like Steph Curry, okay? You could tell that she watched Steph Curry and was like, I want to do that. Can I do that? And she was like, yeah. So she practiced her three-pointers and her ball handling skills, obviously at a high level, and it's served her for the last 5-6 years, and now she's made it to the highest level of women's basketball, and she's out here serving, okay? Like, she already has the most 25.10 assist or rebound games. I'm not sure if it's assists or rebounds, but she has the most ever in 40 games, however many games she's played, more than people that have played, 500-600 games. Okay, so she's already like showing herself to be one of the best ever. Okay, all right. So let's backtrack now and go back into what's going on right now. I think a lot of stuff's happening. I think that you got the Great White Hope feeling. You know what I mean? And I think that's I think that the racial element of this, to me, is coming more from the outside looking into it in many different ways. So you have a lot of white people who are going, see, you're always talking about black people are experiencing racism. Well, what about this? So that's their whole motivation, is the sort of like revenge. It's like revenge motivation, just to kind of be. I don't know if they really support Caitlyn Clark. I don't know if they even care about the WNBA. But on the internet, on the internet, what they do care about is showing the hypocrisy of racial divide. Okay, so you have people that are doing that, and then you probably have some people who are just like, yeah. Finally, there's a straight white girl, that I can support, So there's a little bit of like hatred there, There's a little bit of like, you watch the WNBA and you just think it's a bunch of, black girls and lesbians, and you're just kind of like, ugh. There's people that feel like that, So shame on them, but that's just a real feeling, right? And so they don't want to support that. So then she represents something they can wrap their brain around, right? Okay. You have that. So I think that race element, I don't know if that's, to me, the biggest deal in the actual WNBA. Like, is that really the problem? Is it a race problem? I think it's actually a woman problem. That's my hot take on it. Because just in the NBA, we just had a white slam dunk champion 2 years in a row, right? What's his name? McGoogle or whatever the hell the guy's name is, right? Let me explain it like this. I think that the NBA, the men's game, and the men that are in the game, it's more of a meritocracy in their mind than they care about race, Maybe it's like 80-20 or 90-10 even. You know what I mean? I think that the NBA community respects game. I think they respect the game and they respect people's game. So maybe there's a white guy that comes along and they're like, man, this white boy's trash. And then they let that white boy prove himself, and then they talk about him later and they're like, man, that dude was a killer. There's a respect for the game. That's what a meritocracy is, where it doesn't matter. It's blind. It's all about skill. And I think the NBA has way more respect for that. It's like, of those players, I'm saying, when they see this white boy's out here jamming and doing all this stuff in the dunk contest, and you see all these black players on the sideline going, oh, they're really enjoying it. They're like, yeah, wow, this white, like maybe their thought is that a white guy can't do this. That's their thought. But in the NBA, they let the white guy prove that he can. So even if you have a feeling of like, ain't no white boy gonna, D me up, ain't no white boy gonna do this or that. But when they do it, I feel like the men, the NBA players go, all right. Dude was good, okay? I don't see that in the WNBA. Like, this ain't a race issue to me at all. For me, this girl got game, man. She got game. You can see it. She crossing these chicks up, shooting from the logo. You know what I mean? She had 35 points the other day. It looks like good basketball. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that these women in the WNBA, they don't like it. They making it about something that's not. You think because people support her because she's white is the reason why she's killing y'all league. You think that's what it is? Maybe that's an issue, but it's separate. It's nuanced in terms of that. You have to compartmentalize the issues that are going on. Let's compartmentalize this whole thing. But I tell you what's in one major part of the compartment is Caitlyn Clark got game. She better than most of y'all. I don't care if you white or black. She better than y'all. What are we talking about? Like, if you just respect the game. All these other issues that are flying at it from society and the internet is making it muddled. Let's just make it what it is. Stop her. She got game. Okay. That's one part of it. Now, the other part of it is her fame level. Because listen, there are a lot of great women's basketball players that have played in the past, that are currently playing. We just don't know about them. Let's relate this to another, like a men's sport. I would say like, excuse me, like boxing. Boxing or like UFC. I don't know if like these, like UFC fighters and boxers, they're getting passed up because of they're not influencers. You know, just sadly, we live in a time where you have to be an influencer. So you have to be on the internet. You got to engage. Your talent isn't enough to engage people to come watch you. That's why Logan Paul and Jake Paul took over the whole sport of boxing. Like, you know, unless you're like a fanatic, unless you're into it, yeah, that's your sport. But most people, if you want to be a casual person, we need to know who you are. You know, like you want grandmothers and people to be like, oh, I know who that is. And I bet you that there's grandmas who know about Jake Paul more than they know about Canelo or whoever the big boxer are that you should be watching, right? So I think that the WNBA, that's their issue right now, you know? And that sometimes can overshadow talent a la Angel Reese. Like, Angel Reese looks like hot garbage sometimes in the games, but she famous. She famous. She's on the internet. She's made that NIL money when she was in college. You know, she's out here all the time. She's the villain. She's made that a priority, so you know who that is. Some of these other chicks in the WNBA, they just not doing that. That's just not their thing. And I can relate to that as an old comic. You know, as a 50-something-year-old comic with the internet, like this whole phenomenon in the last 5 to 10 years that has happened, I didn't jump on board on it fast enough. I come from an era where it's like, you just be funny. You got to be funny and people will respect you. Come to find out that's not true. It's just not. Listen, man, I'm telling y'all, come to my comedy show. You come watch me do comedy, you're going to be like, God damn, Griffin, you funny. I stand on that. I stand on it. But that's not enough. Because people who are less than, in my opinion, who are just not as funny as me, not as entertaining, they out here selling out and stuff because they playing the game right. And the game is being an influencer. The game is being a marketer. That's how you become, that's how, it's a business, right? So I'm not mad at Caitlyn Clark, who has now taken advantage of the phenomenon that what she is. You know what I'm saying? Caitlyn Clark is the bad baby of the WNBA, but in a positive way. But sometimes, whatever, like look at Bad Baby. Like she started as this dumb 16-year-old on Dr. Phil, talking about catch me outside and just being a menace. She took that infamy and turned it into millions of dollars, right? So what I'm saying is the WNBA players are not doing that. And they need to start doing that. Okay, so here's Caitlyn Clark, helped by Angel Reese doing that thing. And Caitlyn Clark just being like, becoming an all-time leading scorer. And the sports shows keep talking about it. They're like, this kid, Caitlyn Clark. And then you kind of you're watching Sports Center and they'll show it. And you're a sports fan. And you watch, you're like, damn. But you're kind of like, WNBA, whatever. College, women's college, whatever. It's like, it's going to be UConn or Tennessee every single year. So you just kind of like, you check in and out. You kind of know about who the best player in the nation is. You just move on with it. But she was different. There was something different about it. And then people started watching. You know what I mean? People started watching, and then it turned into a thing. And then it became a life of its own, and now here we are. And it's just a bunch of haters. You know what I'm saying? I just think these women in the WNBA are just a bunch of haters. I think that they're mad. Like, you know what? And I'm saying it because I can relate. I'm out here in the game, and I know I'm hilarious. I know I'm killing it when I'm on stage, right? And then I look over, and there's somebody who's like, I'm like, this what? And then they famous. People are like, I gotta go watch this guy. They selling out shit. You're like, well, how did that happen? I can't be mad at the game. Don't be mad at the game, because that's the game. You know what I'm saying? That's how they do it, right? So I have to be like, all right, okay, and I gotta just get my shit together. And that's what they need to do. So that's another part of it. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's another part of it, okay? Here's another part of it too. I'm tired of hearing about how the WNBA don't make money, okay? That's not on the WNBA players, okay? That's on the NBA. They got into a terrible business. This is a bad business if you're trying to make money. If you're trying to make money, if the WNBA was for making money, this is terrible. This would be like, I go to a comedy club. Let's say I go to some comedy club in the middle of the country, and it's in a mall, right? And then the mall is saying, well, it's $50,000 a month rent, okay? So this comedy club is like, damn, $50,000 a month rent. They got high upkeep. There's bills to be paid. There's employees they got to pay. And I come into the club and I'm like, all right, well, okay, here's my rate. This is what I want. And then they come in at me with this like, you're not selling enough tickets, right? They say that, or they're like, well, we have to, the price we're charging for your tickets isn't, we're not making money. I don't give a fuck. That's on you. Wait, I gotta suffer because you're terrible at business? You know what I'm saying? Like, the WNBA is a terrible business plan. You know what I mean? At the time. But that's not why they did it. They didn't do it for that. They did it for the love of the game, you would think. They did it to have some goodwill. They said, you know what? Let's hype up women's sports. So this is gonna be the cost of doing business. So we're gonna have to pay for this stuff. And you know what? It's not about making a profit. If eventually we make a profit, great. But if we don't make a profit, all right, we got into the business. They had to know. Do you know how many WNBA teams that have won championships have gone out of business? Won championships, multiple championships, and the team folded. They had to move to a new city or whatever it is like that. It's not a good business. It's just not. It's not for making money. So the NBA makes enough money to be like, hey, stop worrying about this. You know what I'm saying? This is just a cost of doing business. All right, it's like it's part of marketing basketball to women, I guess. Or, you know what I'm saying? You go, all right, we want women to like basketball, so let's make some teams. We'll put them out there. We'll pay the players. It is what it is. So, and if you're like a player, if you're a player, man, what do you care? I don't care that you don't make money. You have to pay me. This is the rate, right? So I want to get paid for this. You're not making money. I don't care. Then don't have the business. That's my thing. Close the WNBA or shut the fuck up about it. That's my feeling on it. Either shut it down or shut the fuck up. Those are the two options. Because it's never going to make the money of the NBA. Okay? Not in our lifetime right now. You know what I'm saying? Unless like 50 more Caitlyn Clarks come around and we start seeing the game in a different way. It's just, I've said this in the past. Those two games don't look alike. The NBA and the WNBA, they don't look the same. Okay? And I like the NBA. I like the athleticism. I like the speed. I like the dunks. I like, you know what I'm saying? I like the aggression. I like how it looks better than I like the WNBA. Okay, so that's just me. But Caitlyn Clark, she got a way that you go, oh, this looks like the other thing that I like. And they hating on her for it. I just think it at this point right now it's ridiculous. You know, let's make it a meritocracy, make it about being good. You know, and I think that the women's game is too scrutinized too. By the way, like this chick Brittany Griner, right? So Brittany Griner, she got in trouble because she said, you know, this trash white girl, right? Those are the words she used. She was coming off the court, she fouls out, she's in the heat of the game, she sits on the bench, she's like fucking trash white girl. So what? Like, so what? Kobe, the great Kobe Bryant, called the referee a fucking F word, okay? He called, on tape, he got in trouble for that. But you see so many, like, the men's game, they say stuff. That's in the heat of the game. It's like, this is the thing that we had this weird fascination of what we think women are supposed to do. So they play in this grimy ass game of, you know, it's athletic and it's physical. And we're supposed to say, hey, ladies, while you out there, act like a lady. Make sure you act like a lady while you out. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to scrap and fight just like the men. So what? Brittany Griner walks off the court and she's mad and she says that. Okay, now that being said, they recorded her and they have it. She, you know, they making it like she's some racist. She should just come out and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. It was in the heat of the battle. She was killing me. I fouled out. Boom. That's all it is. Can we move on? That's what it should be about. But we don't look at the women's game the same. We don't give it the same grace that we give the men's game. Man, I've sat courtside at an NBA game. The shit that these dudes say to each other, my goodness. If they filmed that every time and put that out, oh, man, you'd be like, damn. I mean, same thing in the NFL, man. That stuff they be saying to each other on the field and stuff. Ah, come on. What are we talking about? But we expect the women to not be like that? I think it's dumb. Okay? I think it's dumb. Just dumb. So here we are in this situation. We got these outside forces, you know, the outside vibe, making it racial, which I think is stupid. I think it's dumb. It's just dumb, okay? This ain't about race to me. This is about this chick is better than most of the people she playing against, and she playing the game on a different level. And I think the rest of the league needs to appreciate what she's doing and try to get on her level. Where it comes to commercially, business-wise, and game. Get your game right. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Anyways, it's crazy. Somebody just asked me, did I watch The Studio on Apple? I did. I did watch The Studio on Apple, and as a budding director, I loved how they filmed that show. I think that was masterful, the way they filmed that show. All these like sort of one shots, and they had like this one camera, single cam, and the camera was like a character that was following the action. I loved that. A lot of great performances. Seth Rogen's great in it. You know what I mean? You love to hate him in this show. I do recommend watching The Studio on Apple. Watch it. Same thing too. I also talked about Murderbot I think, oh man, like I said last week or whenever it is, why the hell is this? It's like 17-minute episodes, man. You just getting into it, and then they're like, credits. You're like, what? So I do recommend start Murderbot in like a month. Start Murderbot so you can watch the whole season. Because it's going to take you like 2 hours, and it's going to be the whole season. But I do like that show with Skarsgård. Let's see. Yeah, so Studio was good. Really enjoyed that. Well, and that's my Caitlyn Clark hot take. If I say it again, I think if you had to like make a pie of what this is about, I think race is a portion of it, but I think women is a portion of it. Just how they be hating on each other, like just how that's a part of it, And you look at the men's game and you don't see that on that level. I think that there's more respect for game in the men's game than there is in the women's game. And I think that's a big problem. Now, speaking of the men's game, man, I really thought the Pacers had a chance. About a month ago, when they were knee deep in it, when they were during the Knicks series, I had a chance. I wanted to bet the Pacers going to the championship and winning it. And I just didn't do the bet because I was in a state you couldn't do it on DraftKings or whatever betting site it was. And I didn't want to do one of these offshore ones. It was too difficult. But I wanted to make that bet. But they messed up. They should have won game. They should have went up 3-1. That was their chance to win the championship. Because I don't think Oklahoma City would be able to beat them from that point 3 times in a row. Even though it looks like they're about to beat them 3 times in a row. I don't think they will. I think the Pacers are going to win this game. Even without Halliburton, I think they're going to win this game. He may or may not play. I think the Pacers are scrappy. I think these two teams are evenly matched. But I do think Oklahoma City has the better players, like the stars. You know what I'm saying? But it's just happening. Man, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, that dude is so cocky. I hate his press conferences. I love him and I hate him, man. He's talking like he's Michael Jordan, and I hate that shit. But at the same time, I love it because I get it. You know what I mean? But when he does this thing where he's holding this thing like this, and he's like, our defense just like, I hate it. I just want to punch him in the face when I see him doing that. I'm like, man, you cocky bastard. He's like, yeah, I'm the league MVP. I'm about to win this. I'm doing something that not even Michael Jordan can do in terms of his scoring in the finals. If he wins, he's going to break some kind of record, man, that no one's ever. There's only like 3 other players that have done anything close to what he's done. It's crazy. But he got a little arrogance to him, which I like. I like and I hate. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think they're going to – I do think Oklahoma City's going to win. If I was going to bet now, I would bet they win the championship. But I'm holding out hope because I think it's a great story, the Pacers winning the championship, because it shakes up the whole thing. The what do you call it? The big threes are done. Big threes are done. Playing 6 guys in the playoffs is done. All that's done. Thibodeau got fired because of that. Just how he wears his guys down. It's all done, man. It's like, you're never gonna see 3 superstars on a team unless they are drafted by that team, and it's in the first 5 years before they get their big contract. That's the only way. But you'll never see, like what LeBron James did. That era's done. They fixed it with this second apron thing. I don't know all the details of it, so I'm not even going to try to figure it out. Somebody said, well, he seems humble to me. Nah, he don't. He don't seem humble at all. Look at his press conferences, man. He's arrogant. And I love it and I hate it. Okay? But anyways. The NBA is going to be changed forever. Like moving, not forever, but for now. It's a copycat league, and you'll see. They're going to start, it's like what the Lakers did wrong playing LeBron James and Luka Doncic like a whole game. Look what the adjustment that the guy made. You know, he plays Shea for 7 minutes, takes him out for the rest of the first quarter because he's like, I need you in the fourth to take us home. That's going to be the thing. It's going to be a bunch of really good role players, $10 to $15 million a year players who are going to eat now. They're going to eat because the teams are going to be like, you know what? Can you play D? Can you shoot? Come on, my team. I need you to play some solid minutes now. You know, it's not going to be dudes just sitting on the bench doing nothing anymore. It's going to be some dudes out here, and they're going to be running and gunning and shooting and scoring and layups and all the stuff that's going on, and I love it. So I think the NBA's in a good place. Anyway, yeah, somebody said he's no Anthony Edwards. But Anthony Edwards is fun. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like he's like talking shit. It's one thing to be talking shit, okay? It's one thing to be talking shit. That's different from somebody who carry themselves in a way that, like, I'm above you. I know better than you. And Shea Gillis, he kind of carrying himself like that at these press conferences, man. He just the way he's sitting there talking and the way he's talking, he just like very confident in who he is right now. And I love it and I hate it. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching the show. I appreciate, I appreciate you guys. You know what I mean? I'm still going strong after all these years. All these episodes. So thanks. And make sure you do the thing that you do. Make sure you sub. Make sure you sub so you know what's going on. I'll be on Twitch in a little while here because I got to go to LA for shows tonight. But, I'll be here. And then hit me on Patreon too, man. Some new content coming soon. And thanks for watching this show. And I appreciate you. And see you next week. All right, so my audio guys are done. So it's just you video folks. Yeah, guys. Thanks for watching the show. Okay? I'll see you guys soon.